If you're living with peripheral neuropathy, then you probably know all too well that fog that comes from pharmaceuticals. I'm 61 years old and a cancer survivor. I live with ankylosing spondylitis, and as a result of my cancer treatments, I now have peripheral neuropathy. Cannabis didn't just help me recover, it saved my quality of life. After more than 40 years of using this plant, I've learned that the most powerful relief doesn't come from a pharmacy. It comes from science and nature. Living with ankylosing spondylitis means I have been fighting inflammation and pain my whole life. Since a young girl, my body has been my enemy. When cancer treatments added to that with peripheral neuropathy, I couldn't just medicate my way out with pills and feel like a zombie. This is my fourth time of going through cancer in my life without going into any great detail during this video. I know all too well the results of the opioid crisis, as my doctors had overprescribed me as well. And as a result, I ended up in a 12-step program for over a decade. Having relief to pain without the risk of addiction is key to me. Because of my professional background, I treated my recovery like a research project. I needed a solution that was going to stay where the fire was or where the pain was without going to my head and taking me out of the game. Here's the science. Your skin is a massive organ filled with CB1 and CB2 receptors. These are part of your endocannabinoid system. Think of the endocannabinoid system as your body's internal thermostat for inflammation and pain. Neuropathy makes your peripheral nerves hyper excitable. They fire pain signals for no reason. When you apply a high quality topical to those pain receptors, the THC binds to those receptors to quiet the misfiring. The CBD works on the surrounding inflammation, which as somebody with ankylosing spondylitis can tell you that gets to the root of the burn. Because it's a topical, it targets straight to the pain without entering into the bloodstream in a way that affects the brain. I didn't find this answer in a day. I've been using this plant all my life, both ingesting and topically. It was the last few years that I really honed this formula. As a survivor and somebody also managing ankylosing spondylitis, I was pretty picky. I tested hundreds of combinations. I learned that most lotions fail because they focus on cheaper synthetic products or on the lighter weight botanical remedies like menthol or lavender. I had to find a delivery system that actually penetrated the nerve wall. When I finally found that balance, it changed how I moved through the world. Think about what that lifelong journey actually represents. It's a life of nights where I couldn't sleep because my joints were aching or my feet were on fire and things were just too painful. Not to mention that your emotions get fully out of whack when you're exhausted. There were times when I would actually look to see if I could physically see the swelling, trying to balance my professional life with a body that was screaming at me. Then I add peripheral neuropathy, a whole new level. Being in Canada and the cold, now that's just the icing on the cake. There's no describing just how debilitating that can all be. When you have ankylosing spondylitis, you're also already at a disadvantage. You are damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. You have to move so your body doesn't feel what's up, and yet you can't constantly move because the pain is too much. Then you add nerve damage, and suddenly just standing in the kitchen can seem like an Olympic event. Most people see cannabis and they think of a recreational hobby. But for someone like me, and maybe someone like you, it's a functional tool. We aren't just masking symptoms here. We are using a targeted delivery system to locate and address a problem. By focusing on CB1 and CB2 receptors in the skin, we're giving quiet to those nerves to stop sending those false signals to the brain. That's the difference between surviving a condition and actually managing your quality of life. I'm 61 and I'm not looking to get high unless I want to. I'm looking for mobility. I'm looking for pain relief. I'm looking to stand on my feet without feeling like they're being poked by thousands of needles. I'm looking to sleep through the night without my feet feeling like they're rubbing against sandpaper. I'm looking for localized pain relief so I can stand or sit without joint pain. I'm looking for focus and calm in my life so I can live without stress and anxiety, manage my PTSD. By using the science of this plant to treat the sting, the pain, the emotion, I got my life back. You don't have to spend your whole life researching this industry to get relief, but you do have to understand how to bridge the gap between the plant and your pain, your nerves, your endocannabinoid system. Science is the foundation, but technique is the key. In the final video in the series, I'm going to explain to you the application process, the exact way I apply these topicals to ensure I hit those pain receptors each and every time. Hit that subscribe button and follow so you don't miss the final piece of the puzzle. I thank you so much for being with me today. And remember, be kind to yourself. Take care and talk soon. Bye for now.